World War I is not a topic that most of us study very often or that we, as a public, know much about, and so we wanted a chance to educate the public and ourselves on Alabama and World War I. So we approached the students, and they had just fabulous ideas of how to take the artifacts, how to take the photographs that we had, how to take the stories and make those come alive for the public in a traveling exhibit.
The most valuable thing that I think the students gained from the project was really seeing what a real-world graphic design challenge is like. They actually got to meet me, hear our space requirements, and then come look at the space, take measurements, and develop a project fully.
We were able to unveil the exhibit at the state capitol in the Supreme Court Library, and on that same day the legislature approved a resolution in honor of the 100th anniversary of World War I. And then from there it will continue to travel around the state. This summer it'll go to Scottsboro, later this fall to Gadsden, to Valley. So the idea was to bring the story, take the story to small communities, and then some communities are able to add their own artifacts locally so that their story is told as well. One story that we really were intrigued by, and we were fortunate to get the Purple Heart back home to Alabama, is the story of William Kane. He was a father and a husband, and the registrar wrote, "Exemption denied, daughter and mother can live with parents." And so here was a farmer, tenant farmer, and from Limestone County, African American, who ended up fighting in the 366th. And on the last day of the war, his regiment was the victim of gas. And so ultimately he earns the Purple Heart, and so we were able to get the Purple Heart home so that people could see it inside the state as a way to remember his service. And then there's also the story of coming home. And so the Victory Arch that was recreated on a smaller scale by one of our students, I think is just fabulous, especially when you compare it to the historic photograph. Tens of thousands of people would come back to cities, Huntsville, Birmingham, Mobile, elsewhere, Montgomery, to be able to welcome the soldiers home. For young people, history sometimes can be boring because it's nothing but names and dates and events.
But it's so much more meaningful when you can see something tactile, like the uniform on the soldier or the poppy wall with pictures of actual people going by, and it really puts it into perspective that it was real people, real families who aren't very different from us today. It's been really fun to see multi-generations coming at the same time and stopping to look at it, and grandparents telling their grandchildren, "Oh, I remember this," and it has really jump-started families talking to each other.
This is our way to commemorate a particular period of history, but also to hopefully generate more interest in this history.